This is the 2025 Hotas Roundup, built on everything you loved from last year. Over 350,000 people watched the 2024 edition, and thanks to your feedback, this version is sharper, more complete, and packed with new original footage I shot specifically for this guide, so you can check out your future gear even better. We'll start with the most affordable flight controls and climb all the way up to the high-end setups. Along the way, I'll answer your top questions from last year's comment section, suggest upgrade paths, and of course, I'll highlight the best picks for every budget. There are more contenders this year than ever before, so stick around. I'm sorry. Because crappy gear doesn't just hurt your wallet and your feelings, it'll have you googling how to return something after percussive maintenance at 2 AM. To save you from that, we'll check out the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, the Thrustmaster T-Flight, T16000M and Sol-R, the Logitech X-52s, the X-56, the WinWing Ursa minor variants, the TurtleBeach VelocityOne and Flight Deck, the VKB Gladiator, the Thrustmaster Warthog, and a bunch of high-end devices like WinWing's ecosystem, Thrustmaster's AVA, Virpil's D, the Aeromax, and also their grips and throttles, followed by MOZA's complete new flight sim lineup, and of course the VKB Modern Combat Grip, their Gunfighter Mark IV gimbal, and their Stax Throttle series. That's a lot, so let's go! Before we go into the details, there's one crucial thing you need to know before buying any flight stick or Hotas system, no matter how cheap or expensive it is. The most important part of the whole system isn't any button, dial or hat. It's the gimbal. That's the mechanism the stick is mounted on, which picks up your steering motions. It's also that part that usually breaks, with the twist axis not far behind. While buttons are just pressed and switches are flipped, the gimbal is where the strongest forces are concentrated. As you fly your plane or spaceship under pressure, the gimbal has to absorb every shove, twist and yank. As a result, its build quality is incredibly important, so make sure to pick a stick with a proper one. There are 4 main types. A lot of budget sticks use ball and cup gimbals. Plastic on plastic friction, no customization, a noticeable center bump, and oftentimes stiff centering, which makes fine control more difficult than it needs to be. Its only real advantage is smooth off-center axis transition. Then there's the pincer design, which isolates each axis with its own spring. It's mostly smoother, more durable, more customizable, and more precise. It still has a center bump, which can be softened a bit with lighter springs though. Next up is the cam and spring design, found in most high-end gimbals from Thrustmaster, WinWing, Virpil and VKB. It's usually all metal, highly customizable, uses ball bearings, and gives that ultra-precise, smooth motion everyone falls in love with. And finally, force feedback gimbals like the MOZA AB9. These use motors to simulate real forces like turbulence or trim resistance. They come at a high price and with their own quirks though. I made a full video comparing all of these, and honestly, you should also watch that before deciding what to buy. It's linked down in the description and at the end of the video. And now let's begin with the below €100 range and our first contender. The Logitech Extreme 3D Pro is the cheapest flight stick worth mentioning. Gets the job done, but don't expect more than that. It has been around for like forever. You get a hat to trim your plane or to look around, a surprisingly good throttle lever to adjust thrust, a micro switch trigger to shoot your guns, and a twistable stick to control your rudder. There also are 6 more buttons on the base. The gimbal of the Extreme 3D Pro is an old custom design. It's not a traditional cup and ball system, but a similar concept featuring a single central spring and plastic parts sliding against plastic. It uses mechanical potentiometers to pick up motions. This means it will eventually develop centering issues and or drift. Most of this also applies to the Thrustmaster T-Flight Hotas. It uses a cup and ball gimbal along with mechanical potentiometers to measure stick movement. While it costs more, you get an external throttle unit and an additional analog axis on the back. The twist axis is also lockable, which is always a nice feature, since locking it reduces input bleed. This means that if you use the rockers on your throttle to control the rudder instead of the stick's twist, you won't accidentally pitch or roll your plane while applying yaw. Some variants also are available for consoles if you're not on PC. The cheapest version, the Hotas X, is less precise than the more modern variants, so if you choose to get one, make sure to buy the one with better potentiometers. From the same brand comes the Thrustmaster T16000M flight stick. It uses the same type of gimbal, but has better sensors. The stick is ambidextrous and the buttons on the base are placed accordingly, which means you'll have a hard time reaching half of them depending on the hand you use. There also is a throttle slider. Good news is that it utilizes Hall sensors on the main axis. They are contactless and won't wear out like potentiometers. Its twist function though uses a mechanical potentiometer and also is prone to breaking, so keep that in mind and twist gently. You also can't lock it, so axis bleed is a thing, even with a separate throttle unit. Their civil aviation variants use the same internals, by the way. And while we're at it, just for €60 you can get the Ursa Minor Airline joystick. A for the price solidly built, well-rounded stick featuring a glass fiber reinforced pincer gimbal that's quite uncommon at this price point. To make this possible, they've just copied the internals of the more expensive VKB Gladiator you'll meet in just a few minutes. And that's exactly why it's the first device to proudly earn the brand new Drama badge. Congratulations! Let's continue. It's the most affordable stick here with this level of gimbal quality, offering smoother, more precise control than anything else in its range, even outperforming some sticks priced closer to or over €200. The base includes 14 symmetrically arranged buttons, a potentiometer-based throttle slider, and non-RGB lighting. On the grip, there's a button, a trigger, and a hat hidden under a magnetic cover. It's available in both right and left-handed versions. It also has a bunch of dampers. I'll explain why that's important while we talk about our next stick. Now we're in the price range between €100 and €200. First up is the WinWing Ursa Minor Fighter joystick. It uses the same copied quality gimbal as the Airliner variant we just discussed, which is good news, and earns it a Drama badge for that. The front of the grip features a two-way rapid-fire trigger, a dual-stage trigger, a four-way hat switch, and a pinky button, while on the back are 3 hats, 3 buttons, and a pushable analog mini stick. A vibration motor for haptic feedback also is included. Ergonomics are generally good, it lacks an adjustable palm rest though. It arrives pre-assembled with materials that feel solid for the price point. The 20-degree twist function is contactless and lockable. But keep in mind, it's still a budget product and some corners had to be cut. The hat switches in particular feel a bit flimsy and are the part most often reported to break. WinWing also offers an angled variant called the Ursa Minor Space Joystick, which can be turned into a throttle unit by blocking out the X-axis. It's available in both right and left-handed versions. All Ursa Minors feature integrated dampers that, if tightened a bit, decrease overshoot, which makes the stick movements more predictable. Tightening them completely prevents recentering, which is awesome for helicopter sims, for example. The damping isn't as good as the Gladiators though, and that's the stick we'll talk about next. The cheaper of 2 VKB Gladiators is the NXT Evo Space Combat Edition in the standard version. Let's start with the base. All axes feature ball bearings and clutches, providing smoother movement and centering than any device we've discussed so far, except the Ursa Minor, which isn't a surprise, you know why. VKB's stick was the first to feature this specific low-cost, high-quality glass fiber reinforced pincer gimbal. It comes with 3 spring types, soft, intermediate and strong for customization. The deflection is around 20 degrees, which is 5 more than the Ursa Minor, which has 15 degrees. On the grip are 3 excellent tactile cluster hats, 2 buttons on the front, 1 on the side, and also a pinky button. The trigger is dual stage with a clicky first and a tactile second. It also comes with an adjustable palm rest. The base includes 3 buttons, a throttle wheel, a scroll encoder, and an auto-centering 3-position switch. The steel baseplate adds significant weight for better stability, and there are plenty of 3D printable assets available, such as a baseplate for direct access to the springs and clutches. The molding and materials are top-notch, They don't bend or creak under stress, giving it a solid, high-quality feel. Most axes, including the twist axis, use contactless Hall sensors, eliminating drift and centering issues. The only exception is the throttle wheel, which uses a potentiometer, a high-quality one though. Combined with the base, the Gladiator standard offers all the analog axes you need to fly any plane. VKB also provides outstanding service, going well beyond the usual warranty standards. Also take note that there are lots of possible extension modules for the Gladiator base, like for example the side extension module or the THQ throttle quadrant. Next up is the T16000M FCS. While the T16000M stick is mid at best, the real reason to buy this kit is the throttle unit. It uses a sliding design and works okayish out of the box, but you need to grease it to unlock its full potential. Especially using better greases like Niogel 767A or 774VH makes it move a lot better. And there are great mods available, including slider and detent upgrades from several sources. So with a bit of tinkering, you can get a pretty good throttle for cheap. Let's check out the controls. On the back of the grip, there's an analog rocker for rudder control, which is super practical and eliminates axis bleed. You also get an analog stick for lateral thrust or slew control, along with a rotary dial, 2 buttons and a two-way switch. The side heads are better than you'd expect for the price. All axes use inexpensive potentiometers though, which means they start to wear out and develop jitter over time. In the end, you still get what you pay for. For a closer look, check out my landing comparison video I linked in the description below to see the T16000M in action alongside several other mid-range sticks. You can also just buy the TWCS separately if you just want the throttle. Thrustmaster also recently announced the Sol-R 6 throttle. It just looks like a redesigned TWCS though, with a few small additions like the USB connector. With that said, let's move on to the VelocityOne from TurtleBeach. It has some unique features in store. Let's start with the good stuff. You get the following: 10 buttons, 2 throttle axes, an 8-way head, an analog mini stick, a trackpad, a clickable scroll wheel, an adjustable palm rest, twisty stick, ambidextrous design. There also is a headphone jack, and it's Xbox compatible. The materials are a clear step up from what you get below €100. Overall, it's a solid entry-level option, but once again, the gimbal is the weak spot. It uses a ball and cup design, though at least it's equipped with Hall sensors like the T16000. The centering is extremely stiff, so you'll either need to mount it or brace it with your other hand to keep it from tipping over during sharp maneuvers. The trackpad is unreliable at best and not really worth factoring into your decision. Also, unfortunately, the wheel on the base can't be mapped independently on PC and only controls the setup menu. Now we've got a new contender. Thrustmaster released the Sol-R 1 this year, and it's basically a T16000 on steroids. You get 8 buttons, 4 two-way switches, 2 rotaries, and a throttle slider on the base. The interchangeable grip features 2 buttons, 2 heads, an excellent contactless mini stick, a clickable scroll wheel, a dual stage trigger, a rapid fire trigger, and a pinky button on the bottom. It's ambidextrous and can be configured as a right or left-handed grip. The plastic feels solid and the connector is nicely built. Their gimbal, however, still uses their ball and cup design, with all the usual drawbacks: overly strong centering and no way to adjust spring force or damping. Aside from that, it's smooth and probably their best ball and cup gimbal so far. Next up is, wait, what's that? What? A throttle under €200. Just a few days before this video went live, WinWing announced their Ursa Minor Combat Throttle, a mid-range unit priced at around $150, with no Euro pricing available so far. It features a contactless dual throttle, built-in dampers, a mini stick, finger lifts, and plenty of buttons and rotaries. Since it's not released yet, I leave it out of my recommendations for now, but definitely keep an eye on it if you're looking for possibly solid mid-range value. Alright, next up are the Logitech X-52 and X-52 Pro. Both grips feature a dual stage trigger, 2 8-way heads, 2 buttons, 1 secured button, and a rotary mode switch at the top for cycling between 3 profiles. The twist function also is lockable. On the throttles are 2 rotaries, 1 slider, a head, a scroll wheel and a bunch of buttons. The Pro version improves on the original with sturdier construction, some added metal parts like the gimbal connector and better Hall sensors. It's also noticeably heavier. On the downside, neither includes an analog mini stick. And no, stop typing that comment. The mouse track stick is not comparable to a dedicated mini stick. Its gimbal is a hybrid design, somewhat reminiscent of a pincer setup, but it lacks independent springs. It uses Hall sensors on the main axis and a single centering spring, yet even with that, it struggles to keep up with modern counterparts because the mechanics just aren't that precise. All the rotaries, sliders and the twist function use lower end mechanical potentiometers, which will wear out over time and eventually cause tracking issues and centering drift. Alright, now we're passing the €200 supersonic barrier. Our first contender is the Logitech X-56 Rhino. Packed with buttons, encoders, hats and mini sticks, it looks like it's trying to brute force its way to the top. You get 2 mini sticks, 1 on the grip and 1 on the throttle unit, along with 4 rotaries, a slider, 5 hats and more buttons than you might ever use. The throttle is split, so you can control 2 engines separately. And of course, there's RGB lighting everywhere. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is. The grip's ergonomics leave a lot to be desired. Unless you've got hands like ET, reaching all the hat feels like a mission objective on its own. The build quality isn't much to celebrate either. It's roughly on par with the old X-52s, sometimes worse, and comes with all the usual suspects of a mass-market RGB-lit pretender. Creaking, ghost inputs, drifting mini-sticks, and a throttle that likes to stick until you've done a few full-motion cycles. Then there's the VKB Gladiator NXT Evo Space Combat Edition in the premium version. It's the same high-quality package as the standard, but adds a now contactless mini-stick to the grip, which enables full 6 degrees of freedom controls. Additionally, the grip features a rapid-fire trigger that can be pushed in both directions and another 4-way head that replaces the thumb button. If you like to step up from there without going full size yet, there's a new contender worth a look. Virpil introduced their CDT Aeromax stick this year. It's the first super compact all-metal cam and spring gimbal I'm aware of. In terms of smoothness and control, it slots in right in between the Gladiators and larger cam and spring-based gimbals like the Warbird D and the AVA, for example. On the grip there are a bunch of hats, a mini stick, micro switch buttons, a 2-way switch, a dual stage trigger and a flip trigger. Its ergonomics are mostly good, the additional throttle module is excellent, and all of the axes are contactless, including the offset analog brake lever, which is mounted right next to a pinky button. You also get integrated dampers inside the base. The grip offset is also seamlessly adjustable. Everything on this device screams quality, which is almost the polar opposite of our next contender. Another full HOTA set is the TurtleBeach flight deck. It comes with a range of displays, a split throttle unit, lots of RGB lighting, a gear lever, several flip switches, a mini stick on the stick's grip, and even a touchpad. The design is sharp and the grip material is decent, but that's where the positives end. At €400, TurtleBeach opted for a cup and ball gimbal, which is utterly out of place for the price. Add in a bit of shoddy quality overall and it's a hard pass. If you want the full picture, check out my review for more details. And while we're at it, there's also flight sim gear from HORI, but honestly it's mostly horrible. I'll see myself out. At launch they wanted €499 for the HORI PC Hotas, a full set with a sliding throttle and a contactless stick. Reviews only praised the excellent desk mounts. The rest is a creaky mess of cheap plastic, wobbly heads and a throttle unit that grinds on plastic harder than a self-proclaimed alpha during hustle hour every time you move it. Even at $299 today, it's still a solid pass. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video so far, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like. This genuinely helps more than you might think. It tells YouTube the video is worth watching and helps me reach more people. Thank you so much. Next up is the Thrustmaster Warthog Hotas system. This metal replica of the original aircraft stick and throttle is a classic. The grip doesn't twist, but you get an 8-way head, 3 4-way heads, one with push, plus a dual stage trigger and a lever that just acts as a button. On the throttle you get lockable dual engine controls, a mini stick on units produced after 2021, a trim wheel, and a panel of toggles and buttons. The outer shell is plastic with attached metal plates. It feels hefty on the desk, but inside a lot of the structure also is plastic. While it's an older design, the Hall sensors on the main axis still deliver solid precision even today. Just don't buy it thinking the mechanics are full metal or anywhere near the standard of modern high-end throttle internals. The grip is made from a heavy, brittle zinc alloy, which makes it feel quite bulky and top-heavy. More importantly though, the base uses a plastic cup and ball gimbal, and at this price today, that's a deal breaker. There's no real reason to buy this set anymore, so let's move on. Also, because we are entering high-end territory. Here lives the biggest problem of the Thrustmaster Warthog, which is the WinWing Orion 2 metal Warthog Hotas system. Shown here with the F-15 EX or E grips, the Orion 2 is essentially a vastly superior version of the Warthog, offered at a lower price. The gimbal features a full metal dual cam design with contactless sensors, which should be able to endure your random nuclear conflict. There also are different cams and springs available, along with an optional damper kit. The Viper Ace grip is made from powder-coated cast aluminum, which is much lighter than the heavy zinc alloy used by the Thrustmaster, making the stick more balanced and nimble. It also comes with better switches and an analog Hall sensor lever, along with an adjustable palm rest. The throttle unit features plenty of dials, switches and rotaries, along with a few buttons. It's made from sturdy plastic and supports a range of powder-coated aluminum grips. The internal throttle mechanism itself is metal. Each grip includes a mini stick and aircraft-specific controls. It's designed for dual-engine setups with or without a finger lift system. Note that the stick doesn't twist, so you'll need separate pedals for rudder control. There's also an add-on module with an additional analog mini stick, another hat switch, a flip trigger, and vibration feedback. Unfortunately, the build quality of the module is noticeably worse than the main grip. On top of that, WinWing offers a wide range of additional grips and accessories, including an F-16 throttle, an F-18 grip, and various civil aviation components. It's worth checking those out as well before making your decision. Before we continue, let me address WinWing's customer service. There's been a lot of discussion online lately, so here's my hopefully balanced take on it. I took the time to look into several customer service stories and contacted WinWing directly to hear their side. Some cases showed genuine issues with their support, while others conveniently left out key details, like ignoring fair offers or shifting the blame while leaning on WinWing's shaky service reputation on Reddit. So, in my view, their support is still nowhere near Virpil's or VKB's level, but it's not as terrible as it's often made out to be. It's usually just slower, with some language barriers, and requires patience. I'm not downplaying the experiences of those genuinely affected. Some cases were clearly mishandled, but others were far less one-sided. And as always, if you're sure that legal obligations such as warranty rights aren't being met, contact your country's consumer protection agency. That can seriously impact any manufacturer, especially in the EU, where authorities have absolutely no sense of humor when it comes to this stuff. Just venting online won't change anything. With that said, let's move on. Thrustmaster has recently caught up to the pack with their new AVA base. They developed it to complement their long-standing Warthog and F-18 style grips, which have been available on the market for quite some time. It's a high-quality dual-cam metal construction with adjustable spring pretensioners. All of their older grips are compatible, so if you're coming from an original Warthog, for example, this could be a possible upgrade path. What sets it apart are the deflection masks that let you modify the travel range, which is super handy if you plan to use a grip extension. Other manufacturers should take notes here. The downside is that the housing is half metal and half plastics, and the dampers are rather mid and sold separately. so it's facing tough competition from bases that are either cheaper, better built, come with integrated and superior dampers, or all three at once. The only thing it's really got going for it are the deflection masks. The fact that Virpil spaces also support Thrustmaster grips without any adapters doesn't help either. Speaking of Virpil, they offer a selection of high-quality grips. Their current flagship is the Flanker, which features a metal body with laser-engraved labels in either English or Cyrillic. Functionally, you get a metal triple trigger setup, a single-stage main trigger, a dual-stage weapon flip trigger, and a front flip trigger. The Flanker also features a contactless analog mini stick and an analog lever axis, both using Hall sensors. Swappable heads and modules let you fine-tune the layout to your preferences. The grip shape and layout work especially well for larger hands, judging from user feedback. Their premium space grip is the Constellation Alpha Prime, an all-metal construction with upgraded mechanics and electronics. It features twist functionality, a 3-stage trigger, an analog brake lever, a scroll wheel, a mini stick, multiple heads, and RGB lighting. Their Warbird D or CM3 bases, both with full metal housings, are equipped with a sturdy stainless steel single or dual cam gimbal and contactless sensors. These bases are built to higher standards than most of the competition. Spring pretensioners and high-end dampers are integrated as well. And that's exactly the problem with the Thrustmaster AVA base I mentioned earlier. Its competitors offer the same features for the same price, or less. The Warbird D costs about the same as an AVA with the damper kit, yet it's the better base. And for about $30 more, you could already get the WinWing Orion 2 base together with the Viper Ace grip and their damper kit, which is better value overall, only lacking spring pretensioners. But I digress. Virpil also offers throttle units. Their CM3 and the newer VMAX Prime both feature dual engine control, a flap lever, plenty of buttons and dials, and an analog mini stick. The CM3 has a small footprint and provides 5 axes and over 40 programmable inputs in a compact footprint. It's built around precision mechanics with contactless Hall sensors, adjustable detents, and a solid all-metal internal frame. The VMAX Prime, on the other hand, is the extended version with 7 axes and up to 49 button inputs. It has a larger base and adds an extra 5-position switch and more flip switches. Finally, there also is the CDT VMAX throttle, their smallest unit with just a dual engine grip and an additional axis on the body. It comes with 4 buttons, 3 pushable 4-way heads, a mini stick, and 2 axis dials on the grip, which still is a lot for such a small unit. It's made to accompany the Aeromax stick you're already familiar with. Also, if anything should ever break, Virpil's customer support has an excellent reputation. They respond quickly and handle issues with genuine care. Their team often goes the extra mile to make sure everything is resolved properly, whether it's troubleshooting, supplying replacement parts, or giving repair guidance. If you're happy with the video so far, please lend me your ear for just a few seconds. This one took an insane amount of time to make, and ad revenue isn't exactly great. So please consider checking out the description. You'll find a bunch of affiliate links down there that won't cost you a single cent, might even save you some money on new gear, and genuinely help me keep this channel going. Thanks for listening. Let's continue. Next up is MOZA. They are known for their high-quality sim racing equipment and entered the market with their AB9 force feedback base last year. It's a compact aluminium base with 12 Nm of maximum torque and 9 Nm constant. And it doesn't require any active cooling. The grip connector is compatible with a wide range of grips, including Thrustmaster and Virpil. It even works well clamped onto a desk. Following the AB9, MOZA released the AB6 base, its smaller and more affordable sibling, marketed as an all-in-one solution. It launched just in time for this roundup and so far has mostly lived up to its promises in my testing, though only time will tell if it holds up long term. There were some issues with the gearing on my pre-production unit. MOZA told me they've been fixed, but I haven't been able to verify that yet. I'll keep you updated once I get my hands on a retail unit to check. Bundled with the AB6 is the MHG grip, a fictional mid-range design made of plastic, featuring several heads, a dual-stage trigger, and a contactless mini stick, but no flip trigger or brake lever. A step above is the MH16, an F-16 style aluminum alloy grip that follows a classic fighter stick layout without mini sticks or analog axis. It includes an extra module though, with a 3-way switch and another head. For now, MOZA's FFB bases also get the drama badge. There's some controversy around parts of their FFB code. Always be aware about what you're buying into, so feel free to check out my AB9 review for the full details. Now, let's move on to their throttles. MOZA also released the MTP this year. It takes clear inspiration from the F-18 Hornet and offers overall good to excellent build quality. The control layout is mostly focused on startup and systems management. Adding the optional MTLP panel makes the setup much more complete. It brings in the practical controls most sim pilots use more frequently. After that, they released the MTQ throttle, which is a bit more affordable and uses a less specialized layout for universal Boeing, Airbus and fighter jet application. It has 4 axes and more buttons and rotaries than dedicated flip switches. All of their throttles can interface directly with the AB9 or AB6 base, reducing the need for extra USB connections. Beyond that, they also introduced a pretty remarkable force feedback yoke, the AY210, which features interchangeable quick release grips. And last but not least, we've got VKB's high-end gear. The Modern Combat Grip 4 Ultimate, for instance, is an excellent, super light aluminum alloy construction with soft palm pad inlays. It features 5 contactless analog axes, including 2 mini sticks and a brake lever, or 6 if you include the twist option. On the front, you find a dual stage trigger and an additional 2-stage flip trigger. All switches and buttons are supplied by Omron or ALPS. The ergonomics are outstanding, even for smaller hands. You can swap out one of the mini sticks for a hat, as you see here, or both if you don't need any of them. The Gunfighter 4 base is a full metal design with interchangeable cams, adjustable spring pretensioners, integrated dampers and of course contactless sensors. It has the smallest footprint of all the cam and spring bases currently on the market. That's possible because the processing is outsourced to the VKB black box, which also has an expansion port for VKB rudders, so you get less cable mess overall. They also produce a range of other grips for the Gunfighter base, such as the more affordable Modern Combat Grip Pro made from ABS plastic, and a F-14 grip, the World War II Combat Grip and the Space Combat Grip. The same one used on the Gladiator you're already familiar with, just with a different connector and compatible with the Gunfighter base. VKB also offers additional high-quality throttle units, including the Stax Mini, Mini Plus, Standard and Max. All of them feature dual-engine control, at least one contactless analog mini stick and a wide range of buttons and rotaries. These are modular and upgradable, meaning some components are swappable or have extension connectors. This, to a certain degree, allows you to build your own throttle unit. They're also compatible with swappable detent bars, which are included from the factory, starting with the Stax Standard model and above. The lineup recently expanded with the Space Stax, a 60OF throttle unit designed specifically for spaceflight. What you see here is the Space variant paired with the Mini Plus add-on. The Stax grips are interchangeable, so you can switch between the Standard and Space grip at any time. Beyond the hardware itself, VKB stands out for its legendary customer service. They consistently go above and beyond to help with any issues you might run into. Their support team also is super quick, does detailed troubleshooting and will assist you with out-of-warranty repairs even. Before we move on, generally if you're interested in high-end devices, keep an eye out for the WinWing Cyber Taurus. That's a new force feedback base that should arrive in the foreseeable future. It's advertised with 20 Nm of maximum torque and a price around €500, which would be sensational. Also worth mentioning are other force feedback manufacturers like VP Force and Brunner. Both deliver outstanding hardware, but they are aimed more at enthusiasts who don't mind a bit of setup work or technical tinkering. I didn't include them here because this roundup focuses on retail products that work right out of the box and are easy to use for the average flight simmer, without mostly requiring advanced configuration or specialized knowledge. Service notice. After you've watched the upcoming recommendations, make sure to check out the sticky comment under the video. I might have already added some additional info there, corrected mistakes, or included feedback from other viewers. Let's gather as much information as possible to keep this guide evolving. So feel free to also share your insights in the comment below. Now, which system or stick is the best? This depends on your needs and your budget. Let's see. Best budget stick below 100 euro. The Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. It's cheap and gets the job done. You can often find it used or as B-stock for around 35 euro, sometimes even brand new. I wouldn't recommend spending more if you're just testing the waters with flight sims or space sims and you aren't sure if you'll stick with the hobby. Its throttle wheel is surprisingly precise and the trigger even uses a micro switch. Check out my comparison video to see how it stacks up against competition like the T16000, the X-52 Pro, the Gladiator and the Ursa Minor. Spoiler, way better than expected. If you're focused solely on civil aviation, the Ursa Minor Airliner is a no-brainer. It outshines its Thrustmaster counterpart in build quality and precision and is more versatile as well. Next up is the best budget Allrounder, T16000M TWCS Hotas. Yes, the stick's gimbal isn't the best and the twist axis breaks easily, but the throttle unit is great and the versatility is just insane for just over 100 euro. Especially if compared to the X-52, which is more expensive, lacks the mini stick, has no analog rocker on the throttle and doesn't offer better construction quality. You could start here with this set and replace the stick if it breaks with a better one, since the throttle unit, especially modded, is quite good considering its low price. Which brings me to the next recommendation. If you first want to buy a stick and add a throttle later, you need the best value base to build upon. Well, we now have a problem and need to split between USA and Europe. In Europe, the VKB Gladiator series is more expensive. That's why the Ursa Minor fighter stick still is the choice here. For just over 100 bucks or just below, it blows everything else out of the water. The gimbal is great, while the rest is decent in a good way. You get decent switches, a surprisingly good throttle slider, excellent ergonomics, decent materials, decent anti-slip pads, decent electronics, and a decent software. The heads are a bit flimsy, yes, but overall it's decent. Don't know if I already mentioned that. You get everything you need to control a plane in an affordable package. In the USA, on the other hand, the Gladiator Standard just dropped to $119, followed by the Premium for $139. At this price point, there's no competition at all. So that's what you should start with. The Ursa Minor directly copied the gimbal design from this stick, but the Gladiator does everything beyond that better. Higher quality materials, much better head switches, an adjustable palm rest, an arguably better set of controls on the base. It's true you won't have a dedicated throttle, but everything you need to comfortably fly anything from a biplane to a spaceship is already on the stick and base. Get one and buy a decent throttle or a second stick for Hotas later. In some niche cases, the Sol-R might still be worth considering, mainly if you're looking to avoid the center bump during off-center movements and want a few extra controls on the base. Aside from that though, the gimbal is inferior in every way to a proper pincer design. It's also in general not a good platform to build upon. Here's why. The grip can't compete with the Gladiator Premium, except for having a slightly better mini stick maybe. It has fewer buttons on the grip, so if you swap the base for a higher end one later, you lose a much larger portion of your total inputs. Keep an eye out on the prices though. Maybe VKB lowers their price of the Gladiator in Europe as well. It's clearly better than the Ursa Minor and has a unique advantage I'll show you in a few seconds. So always check local prices before you buy. Now let's continue with the best long-term base to build upon. The VKB Gladiator NXT Evo Premium still stands as the best solid choice if you're looking to start with something affordable that you can build on. Why the Gladiator again? Because VKB offers conversion kits, making it a well-rounded, high-quality grip you can carry from mid-range all the way to the high-end setups. If you start out with it, you can later upgrade by simply swapping the Gladiator base for one of VKB's Cam and Spring Gunfighter Mark IV bases, giving you a super smooth and precise experience. If I'd start over, this would be my starting point. I know the X-56 Rhino is also tempting for some, but the reliability just isn't there. Sure, sometimes you'll get a unit that works decently for years with just a bit of stiction here and ghost inputs there, but usually you don't. In some special cases, a real alternative would be the Virpil Aeromax together with their excellent throttle module, which makes for a nearly perfect all-in-one stick. Its price of a combined €260 including taxes scratches high-end territory though. And you can put the grip on a better gimbal. But it's a real option if you seek a high-quality, super compact setup that you want to keep for a long time. Add in a good throttle and some pedals later, and you're good. Alright, and now let's move on to the best mid-range full HOTAS system. Undisputed mid-range champion of the world, the VKB Gladiator Premium, which dropped to $139, paired with a TWCS throttle, reclaims the title from the Ursa Minor in 2025. You get a combo that blows any HOTAS pack in the price range out of the water, including the X-52s and the X-56, but only if you're in the US. Otherwise, replace the Gladiator with a WinWing Ursa Minor fighter stick. It gets even cheaper if you're not into combat sims. Get the Airliner variant along with a TWCS then. Nothing beats this combo at €150 from a value perspective. Grease the throttle and or mud it a bit and you're good. No matter which combo you go for, you get a solid stick and you move rudder input on the throttle, so twist axis bleed isn't an issue anymore. Both of these options, the Ursa Minor and the VKB Gladiator, are also ambidextrous, so our lefties are served as well. Speaking of ambidextrous, another noteworthy combo is the ultra flexible combo. Get a Gladiator for your main hand and an Omni Gladiator for the off hand. You can configure the Omni stick as a flexible 60OF space throttle for interstellar dogfighting, or remove a spring, block the X-axis, engage the clutches and use it as a throttle unit. It doesn't have detents or dual engine control, but it works perfectly fine as a versatile throttle. An Omni combo like this is the perfect setup for space sims like Star Citizen or Elite Dangerous, while still remaining a viable option for flight sims. That doesn't work as well with the Ursa Minor, since the Omni and standard versions aren't convertible back and forth, and their shorter throw makes them less effective as a throttle unit. Thrustmaster Sol-R 1 series is also off the table for now, since it doesn't offer an Omni mount option yet. And on top of that, the gimbal isn't adjustable in the first place. Now, let's enter high-end territory with the best value high-end entry is the WinWing Orion 2 HOTAS Metal Warthog. The Orion 2 throttle combined with the Viper Ace grip is a great value package. Get it if you want a smooth and durable gimbal, grip and throttle unit. At its price point of around €380, there's no competition to be found at the time this video got published. The grip also punches way above its weight class with its lightweight pressure cast aluminum casing and excellent switches. Just make sure you factor in some decent pedals since the stick doesn't twist. Best high-end combos. The Virpil flanker grip combined with a CM3 or VMAX throttle could easily last you a lifetime. They are exceptionally durable, and Virpil's customer service is among the best in the industry. The CM3 and Warbird bases are built to extremely high standards, featuring integrated high-end dampers and spring pretensioners, with the CM3 being better suited for sim rig setups with extensions. If you're into spaceflight, the Constellation Alpha Prime is also worth considering. It's already a recommendable grip on its own, but Virpil also offers a C extension kit for converting it into an Omni throttle. The throttle units are engineered to the same excellent standard, so just pick whichever one fits your needs best, you can't really go wrong. The same goes for the VKB Modern Combat Grip Mark IV Ultimate paired with the Stack Standard or Max. It's a high-end combo that's absolutely worth every single cent you spend on it. In terms of ergonomics, the grip is easily the best premium grip I've ever used to this date. The Gunfighter Mark IV base, equipped with high-quality integrated dampers and spring pretensioners, has gone through several refinements over the years and only improved. It also has the smallest footprint among the high-end bases. The stacks lineup is also modular and upgradable, so you can start with a Mini and move up to a Mini Plus, Standard or Max later on. Combined with VKB's outstanding customer service, it's a setup you also can't really go wrong with. Now, let's talk about MOZA. I'm including them here more as a mention than a full recommendation. Not because their gear isn't good, that's not the case. The AB9 base has performed very well so far, and the MH16 grip, while not quite on the level of a Flanker or Gunfighter Mark IV, still is solid and well built. Their new throttles, the MTP, MTLP and MTQ, also make a good first impression in terms of design and materials. But MOZA still is very new to the flight sim market. We don't yet have long-term experience with either the throttles or the force feedback bases, and it's still too early to tell how reliable their support will be once the first unit starts showing problems. Still, it's worth taking a look at their lineup if you got the budget to spare. After all, it's not every day you come across force feedback gear that's even remotely affordable and, more importantly, actually sold as a ready-to-use retail product. That being said, there's another important thing I want to highlight. In the high-end sector, it's more about intended use than price or brand. You can absolutely combine an MCG with an Orion 2 throttle, or a Viper Ace with a CM3. Or an AB9 with a Styx. Their software usually doesn't interfere with each other, so just go with whatever setup fits your needs best. Watch reviews of the specific products and decide from there. Or even better, connect with friends in the sim community, visit them and try out their setups. In the end, sim gear is mostly about ergonomics and build quality and only secondarily about features. I also want to emphasize that you should always consider to get a good set of pedals. They add at least one independent axis, which never hurts, and are especially valuable for flying helicopters and World War II planes. Bad news though, there are no good budget pedals. Your mileage may vary, but in my opinion, anything below the VKB T-Rudders or WinWing Orions is a bad investment. The cheaper options feel plasticky, uncomfortable and lack precision. Pedals take all the abuse from your feet, so they need to be solid, durable hardware, which naturally means higher material and development costs. The old saying, buy cheap, buy twice, applies here more than anywhere else. Before we go over some upgrade paths, some words to our console people. I am sorry. There's not a lot of stuff for you out there, especially not for the PS5. You're mostly limited to Thrustmaster's T-Flight variants for your specific console or the TurtleBeach VelocityOne on the Xbox. The HORI Hotas systems work with both consoles, I can't recommend any of them though. Now let's check out 4 possible upgrade paths. Path number 1, the cheapest entry. Just testing the waters? Start simple. Your first mission is to get a new or second-hand Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. That's it. Fly with it. Use your keyboard for extra controls. Later on, add a TWCS throttle so you can separate rudder and engine control from the stick. A bit of grease helps smooth out the stiction and gives you proper thrust management. That's all you need for now. If you're good enough, you can absolutely dominate multiplayer servers with this setup. As you improve, you'll want more precision and controls, swap the stick for something better, like a Gladiator or Ursa, and keep the TWCS for a while. Eventually, it'll start falling apart. That's your cue to move up to a proper throttle. Congratulations, you're one of us now. Within the next 2 years, you'll have blown your savings on a glowing cockpit straight out of a sci-fi movie, packed with 1,000 switches and enough levers to operate several planes at once. Your few remaining, mildly concerned friends call you by your call sign now. They'll offer help, you won't accept. What? No, I'm good. What's my name? Path number 2, the best value path. If you're already sure you want to continue playing simulations, you could start with just an Ursa Minor airliner or a fighter stick in the EU or a Gladiator standard in the US. All of them are affordable, have a sturdy gimbal, contactless sensors, and come with everything you basically need to fly a plane. Get a TWCS throttle later on, mod it a bit, and you're golden. Or if it turns out to be a good option, consider the WinWing Ursa Minor combat throttle, then buy a good set of pedals further down the line. There you go, decent setup without going broke. As I mentioned earlier, Make sure to always check the current prices. The Gladiator might drop noticeably in the EU too, so it's worth keeping an eye on it. Path number 3. The premium path. Start with the Gladiator NXT Evo Premium and use it until you can afford a premium throttle. Most of the competition is currently outgunned by WinWing's Orion 2 Strike Ace, starting at around €230, which offers great value for the price. If budget isn't an issue anymore, also consider the Stack Standard or Max, the Virpil CM3 or Prime, or the MOZA MTP. Compare them and choose the one that fits your needs best. After that, you can add a set of pedals, and later you have the option to upgrade your stick's base to a Gunfighter Mark IV. Or you can sell the Gladiator and get the high-end grip you've always dreamed of. It holds its value super well if you take good care of it. Special path. The premium low-profile option. Put your money into a Virpil CDT Aeromax along with 1 or 2 throttle modules. It's an outstanding combo for desktop use and comes with everything you need, including a twist axis for rudder control. You can use your keyboard for extra functions for now, then add the CDT VMAX throttle later. That's easily the best super compact, high quality setup you can get. It's perfect if you want premium gear that's convenient to store or take along and doesn't require desk mounts. And if you decide to add pedals later, you can simply lock the twist axis to eliminate any axis bleed. With the added throttle and the 2 modules on the grip's base, you get a total of 6 dedicated analog axes, which are great for general aviation, warbirds, or assigning extra functions like VR zoom. An important thing to mention is that devices like the Aeromax, Gladiator, Sol-R, T16000 and the Ursa Minor have lower bases than full-size cam and spring gimbals. They sit lower on the desk, which makes them more comfortable to use in regular desk setups. Still, your experience will improve a lot no matter which base you use if you add a pair of desk mounts. The ones you see here did just cost $69 on Amazon, nothing fancy, but they get the job done. Of course, there are sturdier and more adjustable options out there, but they also come at a much higher price. Dumb purchases are worse than seemingly dumb questions, so feel free to ask anything you want in the comment section of this video. My awesome community and I will answer as thoroughly as we can. If you'd like to support the channel, you can drop a super thanks, donate via Ko-fi, or use one of my affiliate links in the description below to help keep these videos coming. Bye for now, fly safe, and see you soon.